Hey, everyone, this morning's daily sprint. We're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning. And today I am especially pretty pumped up and charged for this topic. All right, I want you to think of your life. And you are where you are because A, it was easy, or B, because you've gone through a lot. Think of some things you've overcome in your childhood. Think of some things that you've overcome. Shoot, maybe you're just overcoming right now. We are all where we are in our growth-driven journey because we've overcome adversities earlier on. When I go and I see people talking, they normally bring up their childhood, and people like Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, some of the greats, they just didn't have good childhoods. You know what I mean? They just did not have the good life growing up. They had a lot of adversity. So it's the law of sowing and reaping is what we're talking about right now in our book of boundaries. So we tend to kind of be hypocritical with this. Like, we will go and we'll say things like, hey, I wouldn't be the man or woman who I am today if it wasn't for these hard times. Like my divorce, I talk about that a lot. Cool. But then when it comes to coaching others, or when it comes to our children, we just all of a sudden want them to have it easy. So it's like, are we being hypocritical with them? Or are we being hypocritical when we tell people that we embrace the tough times of our lives? So in an effort to help people, we tend to want to take away their pain or of their consequence. Not take away their pain like a Band-Aid or something like that, but take away the pain of their consequence. So rescuing someone from their natural consequences of their behavior, you are now enabling and giving them permission to do that poor behavior over and over again. You're making it easy for them to not suffer the consequences of bad behaviors. And there's actually a name for that. It's a psychological name. You then become a codependent. So in essence, you start supporting the bad behavior by not allowing the consequences to happen. That's, again, is a codependent. So codependence may confront the person like, hey man, you should really stop doing this. Hey, you shouldn't do this. But they don't ever allow the consequence of that behavior to take place. So the person's just like, yeah, okay, mom, or okay, coach, I won't do it. But until they suffer the consequence of their behavior and own their behavior, you're going to continue to be that codependent, regardless of how many heart-to-hearts that you have, okay? Instead of going heart to heart, you got to let them go belly to belly with the consequences of their behavior. Now, once they're suffering the consequences of their behavior, if this is something that you love and truly care about, then yes, you can help nurture them through, but you have to be very careful that you don't enable them through. So once they've hit and they're starting to get some consequences of their behavior, some consequences of them spending too much, consequences of them not sending you their meal plans if you're a nutrition coach and now they're gaining weight. Once they've suffered those consequences or are suffering through the consequences, you can then help lead them out by giving them more responsibilities or by reminding them of the consequences of the right behaviors, driving them in the right direction, or they will continue to suffer through the consequences of their bad behaviors as long as you don't take those consequences away from them. So codependents just simply need to allow the sowing of whatever their behaviors are. They need them to reap what they are sowing. Again, I find this particularly true with parents. They want to keep their kids sheltered and protected from anything bad out there, getting made fun of, anything like that, okay? And a lot of times that can enable that child to not live as abundant and as good of a life as they would if they learn to work through those things. Love to hear your comments on this. Thanks for tuning in. You have a great growth-driven rest of your day.